You mentioned earlier that rather than taking a sort of comprehensive, sweeping approach to changing cross-border payments, you said take discrete approaches, look for what the problem is, and then solve for that. And I was wondering, from your experience, obviously, so if you could elucidate a little bit, and also then talk about why, a little bit more about why you think the current approach may not be optimal, and what should we do apart from what you suggest.
We talked about the bilateral connectivity because for Singapore perspective, we are trying to understand the business layer interoperability issues. And we have enough learning from Thailand, India, and Malaysia, which we are going to go live soon. But doing bilateral connectivity is mentally very exhaustive. You just can't do it. It is not scalable, and you need champions in every country to stay on the topic for more than a couple of years. It's just not going to work. It has got scalability issues, and it has other challenges. So what's the alternate we have? BIS came along and they started a project called Project Nexus. And there they talked about a common gateway where multiple countries can connect, and that can be a common switch, which will allow interoperability to happen, hoping that central construct has the alignment among multiple countries on the three layers of interoperability from semantic, technical, and the business layer. And all of you are strongly encouraged to read that report. And it is a very nice, well-designed thought process in terms of what can be a future infrastructure to solve such problem. But we have to see from an implementation perspective whether they're going to land in the same problem. My last 2-month experience with India on when it comes to legal interoperability, I just have less of hope that this will work on a multilateral connectivity. It's just so complex. The legal structures are so difficult to have a common understanding. India has a very valid reason why they want that way. Singapore has a valid reason why they want that way. Very hard to bring that understanding. The only way we could do it, thanks to RBI, that we could, as Rita said, that stay focused on use case. If the use case is low value transfer, you're solving a particular set of user segments problem, you can do away with this complex legal and compliance requirement, redesign that format to the risk this particular user community bring to the system. So that's a practical, pragmatic way to go about solving this cross-border transfer. Do we have any other better alternate to these two models? I think we have. And the answer lies with cash. Sorry, going back. And why I say cash? And I see Mohandas Pai here. If I give him a cash Singapore dollar and we exchange and he gives me Indian rupees, it is a bearer asset which we are exchanging. There's no reconciliation, there's no settlement, there's no account checking happening. Can I tokenize this two pieces of currencies, put in a common platform? Why can't we exchange it? Why can't we exchange on a common platform a tokenized version of respective sovereign currency, put in a network? Of course, I understand it's not so simple, but we can actually cap it and put to a level where every participating country using common ledger or common platform put the tokenized version of the sovereign currencies and find a way to move around. It solves the process of the segment of population we're trying to solve, especially India's G20, financial inclusion is a big part of the agenda. Maybe that's the way to go about. Use the old cash example, find a new way of representing technically on the platform using shared ledger and solve it. Then you can get rid of all the liabilities risk, all the counterparty risk, all the operator infrastructure risk, because it's a bearer instrument and you don't have to worry about it. But I don't recommend cryptocurrencies. I'm damn against that. It's all complete rubbish. But at least we should think about taking the technology out. Already the market has priced them out to zero. And take the technology already being built, use it for our own benefit. Use central bank way to tokenize the currency, common platform, take it out and use it for our benefit to solve really a problem which cannot be solved in my mind using the traditional construct of account-based transfer, multiple operators, liability settlement, risk coverage. Too complex for me.
I'll come to questions in just a minute, just 2 minutes.
Can you create an ASEAN digital currency which can be used across the ASEAN with other countries? For example, Indo-ASEAN, let's say Middle East ASEAN. The Middle East is a GCC country, and they can easily do it because they have a common currency. Is it possible for economic blocs to create something which can be used for transfer between the economic blocks, accepted by all countries within the bloc?
I think the part of the answer is Mohandas is already there in the bilateral swaps. Today exists, right? Today, many countries during last 2-3 years have built this bilateral local non-US dollar swaps to these countries. I think that's almost like a template for if you go to that route of settling with non-US dollar for certain value, because still US dollar is a larger reserve currency. For liquidity purpose, you still have to go there. But if you go by use case, it is a reality, and there are some early indication of by policy, by design of the swaps, you can actually do it. Answer is mild yes, but you have to trade very cautiously because it has got a lot of geopolitical implications when you do ASEAN blocked currency settlement.
After so many years of introduction of UPI, the exponential rise in transactions, why do you think there is still a steady rise in currency in circulation even after UPI was introduced, even after demonetization? Thank you.
So I think when you look at UPI, if you look at the first full year of operation in 2017, the volumes that UPI did was about $8 billion. And hopefully this calendar year we'll cross $1.5 trillion. So that's from 8 billion in first year to 1.5 trillion. I don't think any other payment ecosystem in the world can, claim to have achieved that kind of growth. Now, your question around cash still being there, you also have to look at the macroeconomic factor. From a, I don't know, in 2016, maybe we were a $1 trillion economy. Today, we are a $3 trillion economy. So the pie is also increasing. But I think the way we are, UPI volumes are growing. The day is not far when, the cash is going to go down. And anyways, you can see it in the numbers, like the ATM deployments by banks are going down. That is something that you need to take note. The other is, if you look at the transactions on UPI does about like last month we did 7.3 billion transactions on UPI. And combined all the cards portfolio in the country, they do about 550 million transactions. So there is a lot of, traction that we are building, and the delta is going to speak for itself in times to come.
Thank you, Juliet. Thank you, Sharab, Ritesh, Sopnendu. Thank you to the audience for your great questions.